We are streaming live. We're here. Um, and we're just going to wait for some folks to trickle in. I see a little eyeball on the top left-hand corner of my screen that kind of tells us how many folks are watching. I'm not sure if it tells us how many folks are watching on Facebook or on YouTube or on both, or if it's even accurate. So I'm just going to keep talking a little while folks trickle in. Take a sip of my wine. Oh, look, the eyeball says 5 people are watching. Yay. I'm going to try not to pay attention to that little eyeball too much, because no matter if it's one person or 100 people that tune in today, the show's going to be great no matter what. We are glad you're here. My name is Brianna Lane, and I run the Warming House. We are a small capacity listening room in South Minneapolis. We are dark right now, and yeah, let me zoom in to tell you how how sad that makes us. Yeah, we had to cancel all of our shows in April, and we had to cancel all of our shows in May. I think the last show that we had was March 14th or something, and we're just trying to figure out how to do this online and how to bring you some of our artists that we had to cancel. This is Greta Ruth right beside me. I was telling her that she looks very royal, like sitting on the couch like a throne, like a queen. So she's going to play a show for y'all today. And we're going to have some of these streaming events, at least 2 a week through May, maybe some bigger events. We usually run 150 shows a year at our little venue, and we do 100 community events. We're a nonprofit organization, so we depend on donations and sponsorships and memberships to keep our doors open and alive, or in this case, to keep the music coming to you through the computer. Yeah, I already said, I think we're located in South Minneapolis. Our website is thewarminghouse.net, so you can kind of see what we're up to there. We had Greta scheduled, I think you were scheduled for next weekend, right?
Yeah, I think it was the 25th.
Yeah, with MMCM?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get them on too.
I was looking forward to that one, so I'm very happy to do this.
Yeah. Greta has played at our venue how many times? At least 3, right?
I think.
Like 2 or 3.
2 or 3, yeah.
I don't know. She also makes jewelry, which I don't have any of it on right now to show you, but I have been a lucky recipient of her jewelry. Yeah, she's a multi-talented human. I put out a couple posts that said her music pairs well with red wine. So here we are, drinking our red wine. Cheers. Cheers. Or if you are not into the red wine thing, I highly recommend putting a bunch of like elderberry syrup and some water, and just, that's like my red wine substitute, right? So I think we're ready to roll. We have a good audience out there. This is also going to be archived, so yay. And if you're interested, I know a few people are like, how did you get 2 people on one screen? We're using a service called StreamYard. We subscribed to be able to push it to 2 channels. And it's really cool. Greta and I did a little sound check today. It was rad. Yeah, I think I've covered all the basics, except this is by donation. We love your donations and your tips. If you feel like you can donate or tip, please do that through PayPal or Venmo. The links are right there in the show description, and I'll put them in the comments too. 80% of that is going right to Greta. 20% of that is going right to the Warming House to keep us alive and try and open our doors when this is all over. Greta, I've been talking so much. As you know, Greta, we introduce all of our guests with a question. So I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but maybe you knew it was coming. I don't know. I would like to know.
Yes.
Let me think. What would I really like to know?
The part of the show that makes me the most nervous.
What?
This is the part of the show that makes me the most nervous.
That's good. You get it out of the way right away. Okay, I would like to know what have you been watching or listening to during this like crazy COVID quarantine time?
Okay, yeah. So a lot of movies actually, which has been nice
Nice.
to have time to like watch a movie instead of just a show or something like that.
Got a favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Or like a new favorite or like something you just watched that we like should rush out and watch tonight?
Well, I feel like we've been watching some where I'm like late to the game, like Blue Velvet.
Oh yeah.
Like movies I should have seen a long time ago, or North by Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
North. Sorry, see, this is how much I know.
What is it?
North by Northwest.
I don't know that one either, but I admittedly haven't seen Blue Velvet. Like late to the party, right?
There are two nominations for you right there.
That's
then, listening to, well, I guess the past couple times I've made a DJ choice, I put on Javanese gamelan because I've been kind of craving it. I used to play it at Cal Arts, and it's like ensemble. It's very ensemble based music. It's a large ensemble, so maybe part of like having to be in quarantine, maybe remember a time when I played music with like a big group. But it's really beautiful music, so definitely look that up too.
very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, I can hear you all clapping from your living rooms and your kitchens and whatnot. Please welcome to the stage from her throne of a couch in her living room, Greta Ruth.
Thank you, Brianna. I'm happy to be doing this. This is my second live stream show ever, so I'm still getting used to how that works. I think there is a chat comment section available. If you have questions or comments throughout, I'll be able to access those. So feel free to join in that. I'm also kind of taking a different format to this than I do with live shows, where I kind of write out some notes about my songs and kind of share a little bit about like when I wrote them or what they mean to me a little bit more than I kind of tend to do when I'm on stage. So that'll be fun. The first song I'm going to play is a brand new song that I just finished about a week ago. I started writing this one before I even knew that we would have to do something like shelter in place. And the lyrics kind of morphed for me, like from before that happened to after that happened. I find that songwriting can be a little bit prophetic in ways you don't expect. And I think that happens for me usually because I really tap into my subconscious, and that's kind of like a part of your brain that is aware of things that consciously you aren't always. So I find that I learn a lot, like looking back on my own lyrics. But this one had an interesting kind of shift during the writing process because I finished it after, like while sheltering in place. So I don't know if you'll kind of be able to hear what I mean in the lyrics, but I think you might. It's kind of an imagining of a time when you return to something that feels normal and safe and calm after kind of experiencing something that didn't feel that way. So I also did a lot of research about rabbits while writing this song. All right, I'm going to play it for you. The tentative title is Sun Comes Out.
Told the river everything. Rose so red it hurts. Sweetheart, won't you? I will hold the rabbit warm, faking like a dream of forest garden. Make heart, make heart. Send a message of to all the creatures. Bless this bounteous wine. Sun comes out, and the sun comes out.
Thanks, you guys. This next song is called Like You. And speaking of streaming and watching TV shows, fun fact of this one is I started to write it while watching the Netflix, or I don't know if it's a Netflix show, but I was watching it on Netflix. Medici. I always say it, I don't know. But I kind of really get into like fictionalized historic dramas. So that has nothing to do with the lyrics or the music, but that's what I was doing. And normally I don't write music while watching TV shows, just so you know, but it happened. The lyrics, on the other hand, were really inspired by research I was doing on salt, which sounds kind of random, but I was doing it for an art publication that I was working on with my friends Sarah and Elena. We had different categories, and I was in charge of aspects for salt. And I just really fell in love with salt. So it actually comes up in another song too. Some things that I was kind of exploring about salt is that it's a healer, and it's been used to heal, but it has also been used to curse. It's in the ocean, and it's in our tears. Crying, for example, comes from sorrow or suffering, but it acts as a release that is actually very healthy and healing. So this song is about rebirth and having another chance to live kind of each day in cycles. Can people hear me? I'm quiet.
Yeah.
Maybe I should pull a computer closer. You won't get this nice view of my couch, but maybe you can hear me better.
Salt and water, what do they offer to those that pray? As the ocean that stands over it, beauty has its way. I thought the dark would hurry my heart to learn
Thanks, you guys. Are we having any questions? It's okay if you guys don't ask any questions. I have things to say, but feel free if you do. So this next song is called Heaven After. I put it out as a single. It's my most recent release, so you can find it online. I wrote it mostly while in Door County, Wisconsin. I was on a trip with my mom in the fall of 2018, and we were staying on a farm, and we got to watch them take the cows out to pasture, and in the morning we would get to get our eggs fresh out of the chicken coop. We were kind of nervous doing that. We hadn't been around chickens a lot, but it was really fun and delicious, so fresh. And this is the time when I was kind of wrestling with some personal issues, and I was realizing the importance of honoring my own heart and not trying to change it into anything else for anyone else. I felt that the kind of like the sorrow that I was feeling, or in the song it's kind of depicted as rain, only made me more of who I was, and I felt this kind of reflected in the plants and nature around me, who kind of grow from the rain, and that was kind of like what inspired this song. Yeah, and there's a music video online for this one too.
Wide open space, single one taking place, anybody now, dear voice, dear daffodil, I only bloom this very shade. And it rains my love for roots to grow deep. Skin is my keeper. Heaven weeps, oh my love. For every flower, for every honest kiss, it rains my love, and roots they grow deeper. Skin is my keeper. Heaven weeps. Oh my God. Sure, in time we'll see the flowers of the steady hand. They will be golden every hour. It's a pretty plan.
Thank you.
Your dad said wash hands, I don't know if that's an inside joke.
Maybe because I mentioned hands.
Mm.
Maybe this is the time to say,
General advice.
just wash your hands, folks. Now and always, right? Okay. This next one's called By Red Work. I wrote this song when I was a student at Cal Arts in California. I was studying music and I had an assignment to write a song in an hour, just 1 hour. And that is totally possible for me, but it's just not how I usually write. I usually write a song in like a few months. So, but I went for it. So this is a song that I wrote in an hour. And it's about realizing that we are each other. Sorry if I'm looking over. I'm reading some notes. I don't have this all memorized. So, we're each our own separate, sovereign human animal, and accepting that responsibility and accepting the responsibility that puts on us. We can't pin that responsibility on anyone else, and we also can't adopt someone else's choices, mood, or goals, or something, anything like a mirror. So a mirror is kind of like the imagery of this song. And it's also about the power of words, and which I think can function like spells, and might be where the idea of like a spell or a curse comes from, is just that language is really powerful. So our responsibility extends to the language that we use in a really big way. So the song's kind of like about those things.
How would I know there's a way out? In my eyes are there stars. Thought they were a mirror, I was wrong. I have my own pockets that empty. Love that I got, and love that I give. I watch my tongue. I wanna watch my tongue. Make a way to say I love you. Make a way to say I love you. All this time, all this time. All this time I thought they were a mirror. How would I know there's a way out in my eyes? Are there stars?
Thanks for watching, you guys. This next song is called The Waves. And
Where can they find your music and buy it?
so the fun thing is that only one of these songs I'm playing tonight is recorded, and it was Heaven After. And you can find that on any streaming service. You can find it on my website. You can find it on iTunes, Bandcamp. I'm not going to tell you where to find it. You can use your favorite place because it's probably there. It's there. And I have an EP, 4 songs, and a couple instrumental songs that were kind of like an EP, and then another single. And I have one other single and music video coming out May 1st. And then the rest of these songs, most of them will be on an album that should be out by the end of 2020. So, and it'll be again on all streaming, all download platforms. So choose your favorite. This next song is called The Waves. It's kind of when I was reflecting on it, I decided it's kind of a fantasy love song. So it's fantasy in that it takes place in a universe that doesn't actually exist, that I can just see in my mind kind of cinematically or kind of remember like a dream rather than something real. So to describe kind of what I see, there's an ocean and you're there with the person that you love and they're telling you that they feel calm and whole. It's a moment of total connection, but also acknowledging that change is the only constant and each breath brings change with it. So the song's also a baptism song because it's a song of letting go, sacrificing in order to still have love. I think I used to think that love meant sacrifice and that there was a lot of struggle involved. So this song helped me create a space where that struggle could be isolated and stabilized and beautiful. I no longer believe those things about love, but I still like the place that this song takes me and the imagery. I usually tell people to feel free and close your eyes and picture waves during this song, but now that you kind of have like my fuller picture, feel free to close your eyes and picture that too if you want, or just watch. It's up to you. This is The Waves.
Bathe me in the sea. My love, I need it face me, sure and sweet. Waves will come and change your ways. heart is fuller than all I've lost. My body like your favorite. Did you come and like your favorite word? I need a small day. I need a small day.
What's the name of your new single?
The name of the new single is called Night Gets Cold. And I didn't put it on the program for today because I played it at my last live stream. But you can hear it soon, recorded. Okay, so now I have 2 songs left just to give you a heads up on kind of like what you're in for. It's not too much more. This is the other song where I was mentioning salt. In this song, I was again kind of like diving into what salt means, what it means to me, and what it's been used for, and kind of whatever about salt. I was just fascinated. So one thing I remembered at the time was the story of Lot from the Bible, because I remembered that his wife turned into a pillar of salt, and so I was like, salt, interesting. So extracting only one moment from that story, not trying to interpret it in a wider biblical or any kind of context. To me, when I was reflecting on that as an image, it felt like she turned into salt because she had let herself become kind of bogged down looking back at something that hadn't been good for her in the first place. She had a chance to move into a better future, and she was stuck on a worse past. And that was a very poignant image for me of like something to avoid in life. So, although I didn't really discover that image until the end of this song, but it kind of ended up completing where I was trying to go with this one. This song's also about building something good out of lack, not in a way that seeks to glorify suffering, but in a way that acknowledges suffering as a part of life, and that shouldn't stop us from moving forward, from learning, from trying not to make the same mistakes. There's a lot of effort involved in that endeavor, and it has to be conscious. So those are kind of the two themes from this one. Okay. So I ended up naming it Turn Salt.
What love is called, this is cold strings at the bell. Don't answer, don't answer. When darkness falls and rain soul of my dreams. My wonder, my wonder. Have you found your tongue in all of this? White languages, did you miss? I went to find out where our day gone. I sang the night out a weary song. I want them so. I'm married. My dreams of rose and red. Back to myself. I'm here yet. Grace that ten salt. I don't think of ten salt. I don't think of ten salt. I don't think of.
Thanks, you guys. This might be the last call for questions because this next song is the last song that I have planned for you guys. So while I'm discussing it, if you want to type anything, feel free. But let me just say some other things first too. First of all, thank you so much to the Warming House and to Brianna for hosting this and still trying to keep the community and the music going and bring it to you guys, making this possible for me to do this for you guys. It's amazing. The Warming House is one of my favorite venues to perform at or see shows. So just thank you. Thank you to everyone tuning in. I really can't tell who's here or not, but thank you. I appreciate it. If you want to ask me questions after this that you didn't put in the comments or anything like that, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My handle is at Greta_Ruth. And it's a good way to like stay in touch with what I'm up to too. I usually put everything on there. I do also have merch that you can get my music online, the things that I have released. But if you want more, if you want above and beyond, I have t-shirts that I designed. Actually, you probably can't see in the background. Oh, you can see in the background the original, original drawing of the album artwork for my EP. This is a line drawing I did based off that. I have these in small, medium, large, extra large, and I can ship them to you. And you get a free download of the EP, $20. So if you already bought the EP, you can get the shirt for $16. So just reach out to me if you're into that. Like I said, Heaven After is the only one I've play that's recorded, but Night Gets Cold coming out very soon. The last song I'm going to play for you is a song that I wrote in high school. This is a throwback moment. I've played this, I think, at the Warming House before, actually. I released this on an album in 2011 with my friend Cecilia. We were playing in a duo together. She was a cellist, and she would play this with me. The album that we put out is called You're Pretty Sweet, but that one's not online. So you gotta, I don't know how you hear it. You have to be in my car with me, listen to my CD. Because I think we're pretty much sold out. Might have a couple. It's a song about discovering one's own shadow, one's shadow self, and kind of the vulnerability that that can bring. So, cheers again to you guys. The song is called So Far Gone, and that's it. Thank you. I'm gonna start over. What? Oh, okay. I remember it now. I think.
I went for a walk one winter's night, and I saw something there that gave me such a fright. Oh, the darkness had followed me around, in the shape of myself contorted all around. Tell me that's not what you see when you think of me. Think of me. Maybe I can see your skeleton. It scares me to think that you're so far gone. Try to pin some color back into your cheeks. I got the needle and thread now to sort all your needs. Tell me that's not what you see when you think of me. Tell me that's not what you see when you think of me. When you think of me.
Thank you so much. I think Brianna. Thank you.
That was beautiful. And I just love the dissonance of your songs. It's just really lovely. Yeah, thank you. Folks are writing in the comments that they're happy to finally see you live. And we had someone over on YouTube that was posting after every song. That was fantastic. And thank you for telling us about your merch and your shirts are beautiful. Anything else you want to share with us?
I guess that just reminded me, since you did bring up my jewelry, and I usually have that at my merch table. If
Mhm.
you're interested in my jewelry, you can go to cmade.com, which is TSIIMADE.com. You can find at cmade, TSII made on Instagram too. If you're craving some instrument string jewelry, that's how I make it.
I was trying to find the ring that I have of, that you made, and I actually left it at home, and I'm at my grandma's right now. But
Oh, that's okay.
I just love it. It reminds me. It's a simple guitar string ring, and it reminds me to play every day and try to write more songs. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks for telling me that.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Some people found that donation link on PayPal and Venmo. Thank you so much. The next show we have is coming up at the end of this week. I believe I should have got those details straight. But we also have on Thursday, we're going to have a Zoom meeting with some songwriter folks to share songs and workshop songs together, because we usually do that in person. But there's going to be an email going out about that, so you can sign up and get that Zoom link. And then some other shows coming up, and hopefully we'll get Greta back in-house, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so gretaruth.com, correct?
Yeah.
And thewarminghouse.net. And we both hope that you're hanging in there and enjoying all the music that you can. And we hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Greta.